Now I want to show you a quick demonstration of Windows encrypting file system. We're in a Windows XP machine now, and what I'd like to show you is how Windows EFS works. The first thing I want to show you is how Windows EFS can encrypt individual files. I have a folder on my desktop called confidential, and then I have a file in the folder called confidentialinformation.txt, a simple text file. And if we open it, we can see that this is confidential information. So let's close this file. And what I'd like to do is encrypt it. Right now it's unencrypted. And what we want to do is right click on it and go to Properties. And what we would do is, if we click down here on the Advanced button in the Properties tab, we'll see two options down here: compress or encrypt attributes. We have compress contents to save disk space or encrypt contents to secure data. What we're going to do is encrypt the contents to secure data. Now these are mutually exclusive, these two options are. You can't compress and encrypt at the same time with Windows EFS. That's not to say you can't do it with a third-party program. But let's go ahead and click encrypt contents to secure data and click OK. And we're going to click Apply. Now we have two options here. We can encrypt the file and the parent folder, which we're not going to do right now. We're going to encrypt the file only. Okay? We could have the option of always encrypting only the file so that we don't ever get this dialog box, but let's not do that for now. Let's just encrypt the file only and say OK. And then we're going to say OK to that. Now, what you may or may not have noticed is the text color for the label for this document has changed to green. That indicates to Windows and to the Windows user that this file is now encrypted. Now, has this caused us to have to do anything different when we open the file? Let's open it and find out. Nope. We didn't have to do anything. We did not have to prompt it or give a password for a prompt or anything like that. So now we have an encrypted file in an unencrypted folder. Let's go ahead and close this. And now what I'd like to do is look at this particular folder called Personal on our desktop. Let's right click it, and we're going to go to Properties for it, and we're going to go Advanced again. Now we have the same dialog screen. Again, down here we're going to encrypt the contents to secure data. We're going to say OK. Now notice that we did not get that dialog box. Why is that? Because when we encrypt a folder, we're going to encrypt the contents of it as well. So we're going to say apply this change to folder only, or to folders, subfolders, and files. We're going to leave that checked and say OK. We're going to say OK to that. So what has that done for us? Well, now we have an encrypted folder. Let's open up this folder and look inside. There's a personalinformation.txt file that's there. We didn't encrypt that. It automatically became encrypted when we encrypted the folder. Now if we open this file, it says this is personal information. We didn't have to decrypt it or put in a password to decrypt it. We're going to close it. And now we're going to create a new file. Let's create a new text file. And let's call it new encrypted file. And there we go. It's automatically encrypted. So we don't have to do anything else. And this is actually the preferred method of doing Windows EFS, is creating an encrypted folder and putting your files in it. Now if I were to log off and log on as a different user, when I click these files and folders, I would get access denied. No one would be able to access them except me. And that's based upon my Windows login. Some of the limitations of EFS that you need to know are that it only works on an NTFS file system. So if your Windows 2000 or XP or Vista box is not formatted with Windows NTFS, then this is not going to work. If it's encrypted with FAT, EFS can't be used. Also, if a file is copied to a USB key or another drive that is not NTFS formatted, it loses its encryption. Okay? So Windows EFS is effective only on the local computer, on the local drive that's formatted with NTFS. The other thing you need to know is if you change the password for a user that's on this box, this computer, it may cause them to lose their encrypted files and folders. They may not be able to access those again because the encryption key is based upon their password. Now to give you a quick demonstration of the command line utility, we can use the command cipher to look and see what files and folders on the computer in the current directory we are in are encrypted. If we want to encrypt one, we can say cipher/E, and we have to specify the folder. I'm going to encrypt the private folder. That encrypts the private folder on the C drive. Now let's actually look again and see what it shows. If you look right here, it shows that the folder private is encrypted. Now we can decrypt it using the same method. We just have to change the switch to a /D. So that command will decrypt that folder. And running Cipher again will show us that there's no encrypted folders and files in the root of C. Now Cipher has many options that you may want to look at, much more complicated options than what we've looked at. And you can specify particular files, folders, and so forth. And when you get the chance, if you're curious about this, take a look at Cipher and see what it can do for you. That's essentially all there is to Windows EFS. It's very easy to use, and it offers transparent encryption based upon your Windows username and password.